Hey, so random question. You go to the grocery store, maybe you don't go to the grocery store, maybe you order online and pick up, maybe you have them bring it out to you at the car. Either way, if you order online or you go into the grocery store, which I have to do later today, by the way, have you ever really looked at the products on the shelves and the name brands? And have you seen that there's just a ton of the same product, but by different companies? It seems like, yeah, of course we see that, but have you really looked at it? How many different brand names, however you want to say it, are there for each product? Let's say you're going to buy frozen green beans, and there's the store brand, then there's the off brand, then there's, I don't know, Jolly Green Giant or something, and maybe there's an organic like Amy's. I don't even know if Amy's has frozen vegetables. Anyway, all I'm saying is there's one product, green beans, canned tomatoes, whatever it is that you're shopping for, but there's 15 different brands, and they're all the same thing, but they're all made by different companies. I think that's interesting and a little strange, because when you actually look at the entire process or the content of the can or bag, most of them are all the same content. They're just packaged differently. So the shelves are stocked with all kinds of good things, and then there are things that appear good, but they're not, and then there's just straight up bad for you, not healthy stuff. So the bad stuff is highly processed, fake food. It tastes really good, but it can lead to high blood pressure and cancer and weight gain, and ultimately it can kill you. Well, then there's the good stuff, or the stuff that looks good, but it isn't really, because it's loaded with sugar and chemicals and additives. And it's a substitute for the really real good thing, which is funny because how many things say fat-free or sugar-free, but then you look at all the ingredients and there's nothing real in it. It's just all chemicals and weird stuff. And again, it can taste really good or sometimes not. I got something frozen not long ago that I thought would be really good, and it tasted like cardboard. Yeah, lesson learned there. But then there's the really good stuff. The stuff that's more expensive, and it might involve time to find it. And then it requires attention because, you have to find it, and you have to figure out where to get it and how to cook it, and all the new recipes, because there's no additives, there's no preservatives. It comes fresh from the farm. It's the food that we commonly call nutrient dense and organic and non-GMO, and you're not going to find it at the corner grocery store probably, and you may not even find it unfortunately at the farmer's market, because sometimes the farmer's market is still using all of the not so great for you chemicals and things to keep the weeds out of the garden and keep the food fresh until they get it there. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'll just give you a little example here. I have this weird relationship with food right now. It's all poison. And I know it's not. I know not all food is poison. But in my brain, I've heard and read so much about non-GMO and all the additives and buying organic or not buying organic, or is it truly organic, or is it just pretend organic, and what does organic even mean? And I just go through this phase and I'm like, I just don't want to eat. It's all poison. I don't want any of it. Okay, well, that's not sustainable. So, yeah, I'm letting you in on the back chatter in my head with one of the little challenges that I have. So technically, I'm talking about food, kind of. I'm talking about Doritos or organic farm-raised beef or Halo Top ice cream, but I'm not. I'm actually talking about what we believe and how we make the choice of what we believe. We choose what we believe just like we choose the products that we eat and what we choose to purchase at the store. Sounds crazy, right? What we believe controls the choices we make and the thoughts that we have. And this is why taking thoughts captive is incredibly important. Our thoughts give a clear picture to what we believe. Our words emanate from our thoughts, which come from our beliefs. It's like you can follow the breadcrumbs to see what your beliefs are. Literally, whatever you believe about relationships, finances, family, health, life, it's all right there, and it's coming out through your words, which is coming from your thoughts, which is coming from your beliefs. We can believe the truth, which is what God says, or we can believe the lies swirling around us. And they swirl around us because of everything we see, TV, movies, relationships, work, jobs, families, anything that we come in contact with, including all social media. These are the things that swirl around us that go, here, you could believe this, or you could believe that, or you could think about this, or you could think about that. It's all right there, swirling around us, going, here, buy this fake food, buy that fake food. All of this craziness is right there, and we have the opportunity to just pick and choose what we want. But we don't always choose the right things for the healthiest life as believers. We can pick and choose to create our own version of fluid spirituality, which is past truth or part truth and part lie, which leads us to massive confusion. And that confusion is based in the fact that, we're going to believe a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and we're going to mix it in. Let's just get really plain. Okay, so I'm going to believe this part of Scripture because that works for what I want, but then I'm going to believe this part of some kind of New Age thing because I like that too, and that would fit nicely. But then I also want to believe some of the Native American lore because that sounds pretty cool too. And can't I just mix all these together? And can't we just make this one big pot of stew with all these beliefs and say, yeah, it's good? Yeah, we can do that. You can absolutely mix everything together. And in this day and age, that's called fluid spirituality. And the shelves are stocked in this life with experiences that shape and create your beliefs. And all of those experiences and opportunities that shape this, well, you don't have to sit with the truth. You don't have to sit with what God says. You can take anything you want because God has given us choice. And with that choice comes kind of the luxury of the consequences of our choices. Just so we have some clarity on this word believe, it means literally to hold dear, or maybe to say it a different way, to hug close to your heart that which is important to you. So whatever you choose to believe, you're holding it close to your heart. The great news is you're not stuck with your current beliefs. You can replace them. Just like the drafty old windows in your house, you can replace those too. The first thing you have to do, though, is figure out what you believe. Listen to the words you use and stories you tell yourself with your thoughts. You identify the belief, then see what God says about it. Not your pastor, not some Christian or motivational speaker, not me. What does God say? Look it up in Scripture. And I'm not talking about just those 2 verses that you found in a random Google search. I'm talking about look it up in Scripture. Look at the context of the verses. Ask God what His heart is about this belief, thought, idea. Ask Him to tell you, yes, totally, that's what I said. You're right on target. Keep going. Or maybe God's going to say, you're close, but you got off just a smidge. Let's bring it back over here to this thing that we were talking about. And the way you find out what He says about it is you ask Him first as you're looking these verses up. But again, you look at the verses in context. You look at the whole of the Scriptures where one topic is concerned. So maybe you're fighting anxiety and you think, well, anxiety is just a part of life. It's just the way it's going to be. Okay, well, Scripture says, New Testament, Scripture says, you're going to have trouble in this life. Okay, well, there it is. You're going to have trouble. But then you got to finish the verse, because then it says, but take heart, I've overcome, and you will too. Huge paraphrase there. But what I'm saying is you have to look at all of it, and then you have to look at who said it. Is Christ saying it? Is Paul saying it? Is David saying it in the Old Testament? You look at the entire thing. You don't just pick and choose the verses that kind of maybe make it say what you want it to say. And then you get to decide. You can choose to believe what God says, or you can ignore it. You don't have to believe. He gave us choice. He gave us the choice to believe that He has the best for us, or He doesn't. You choose what you want to believe. And if you want to believe His best for you, then you kick that old belief, the one that says it's not true, that it's a lie, you kick it to the curb, you replace it with what He says about you, who you are, and His great love for you. So, you can believe what God says, or you can ignore it, and you can keep on with your highly processed cheese-like substance if you like.